It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.
Hey, we are live. This is rAVe TV, our weekly, the industry's only weekly TV show covering AV, UCC, and digital signage. Every Wednesday, it's me and my co-host, Steph. Steph, how are you?
I am good. I feel like it's kind of, do you know those few weeks that just kind of feel like a mad dash before like the holidays start? I feel like that's where I'm at because like everything's busy. I'm trying to like get everything, all of my like deadlines and stuff, like get up to date before Thanksgiving, because between Thanksgiving and Christmas, like that's like limbo to me.
Well, we still need you to work some stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yes. No, but like, you know, like those few weeks are just like crazy in and of themselves. So I always try to get to like a good place before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, it's crazy right now. So
no,
how are you?
I know it. I get it. I get the limbo thing. And it's Thanksgiving's early this year. So it's odd to have Thanksgiving. And then I still have 2 more weeks of teaching. It's been times where I've had Thanksgiving in like 3 days. And then there's been times where I've had Thanksgiving in a week. But I don't remember a time where I had Thanksgiving and 2 more weeks of teaching afterwards.
Exams are late this year for you guys.
They're late, and they actually, the last exam days, the 19th, I think it is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, let me double sure of that here. Yeah, it's the 19th. Isn't that crazy?
That is insane, because most of the time, I mean, back in my day of the early 2010s when I was in college, we would get out.
Long time ago. Still.
I always had an exam. Yeah, thank you. I always had an exam like on the last day of exams. It never failed. But always the last day was like December 10th. So I would always have like a good, like, you know, almost a month at home before I had to come back. And I feel like that's not going to happen.
It's a weird semester. Hey, by the way, I want to put up a Doritos ad. And our industry is going to go nuts, because when they see this, they're going to go, holy mackerel, this is stuff that's in our industry right now. And it's a really good use of it. And by the way, the reason why I want to show you this is it was the ad agency's idea to do this for Doritos. So watch this ad really quick. This is a currently running ad for.
First AI augmented snack powered by crunch cancellation. Cancel crunch in real time. Doritos silent. Game on, crunch off. Download now.
Is that awesome? They took the technology that Shure and others have been talking about for 2 years now. You know, we've been talking about this, right? Sure, they actually have a whole video on this. Remember the crunch, removing the crunch from microphones. So they took that technology and put it into video games, because, you know, everybody wears headsets when they're video gaming. And of course, Doritos is probably one of the most popular snacks. And so they have an app that you put on your computer, activate it, and it takes out the crunching noise on, and it's not just Doritos, it's over 200 different snacks. They actually track the noise created by 200 different snacks, and it literally noise cancels them out. And we know what's actually going on there. This is the same technology used to do the cancellation in the MXA series from Shure.
But, you know, they had to initially get a person to test the sounds of different snacks so that they could
the same
develop
way
the technology to cancel them out. So who did they have?
I mean, I think it's AI, right? I think it's AI. I think it's they just like, I don't know what they did. They put it in a machine, or maybe had a person doing it. But isn't that cool? Like our industry has spilled over to consumer industry. So now gamers, and this is relative to what we're talking about.
Gamers do be eating Doritos.
They do be eating Doritos. And, you know, if you've ever played games with a headset on, you're not really paying attention to what everybody else is hearing. But you're on a team, right? If you're doing a battle royale and you're on a team on Fortnite or wherever you're on, you're talking to each other, and whatever you're doing, you know, whatever kind of noises you make, they're going to hear. And this
Yeah.
is genius. And we'll talk about, this is all about e-gaming, or gaming, I should say. We'll talk about that later in our program, because we have the industry's first and only live esports show, and episode 2 comes up tomorrow, Steph. We'll talk about that later. But what did you think about that technology? Isn't that cool?
That's really cool. I have to say, I need to watch the commercial closer, because I was watching it in my little like confidence monitor screen. I was like, wait, what's happening? Wait, what are they doing? So, but now that I was like, wait, oh, that's what they're advertising. They can actually take that out. So that's actually very cool. And
and it's a great example of being in service to the brand, right? The
Mhm.
agency came up with this idea, saw this. I haven't talked to the agency yet, but I'm going to guarantee you that they probably saw something that Shure put out there about what they're doing with removing chip noises from microphones and incorporated that technology.
That'd be a cool column to write, actually.
Yeah, actually, there you go. It would be a cool column. Interview the agency and figure out how they got the idea for it and all that kind of stuff. But not that you don't have anything else to do.
Yeah, fact, look at me. One thing about me, I'm gonna have an idea and give myself more work.
Yeah, and in 55 minutes, Steph has a big debut. Tell us about it,
I
Steph.
do. So happy Security Newsletter Day, everybody. So we have a security newsletter that our company has been developing for a pretty long time.
Like a year.
And we have it scheduled. It's gonna go out at 1 p.m. everybody's time. We have it on a time zone set. So whatever 1 p.m. is for you, that is when, if you're on the security list, you'll get the newsletter. So go ahead and sign up. This is going to be an interesting thing for our industry, but it's becoming quite apparent that security is going to be a larger and larger part of ProAV. And
we're talking about physical security and cybersecurity is going to be covered in this. And so when there are hacks in the industry, we'll cover them, but also what the solutions are for these things. And also some of the opportunities specifically for integrators to get into security and security products, offering those products. We're partnering. We'll have a different, we're going to partner with other people in the industry to talk about this. And we'll bring you more details as we roll it out. But if you want to subscribe, if you're into security or you're wanting to get in security, all you got to do is scan that QR code and you can subscribe, or you can just go to ravepubs.com, click on the subscribe button. It's there. Just pick rAVe Security. It is one of our publications. So I'm really proud of the team that put it together, Steph. I know that it took a lot longer than what we originally thought it would do, but it includes a redesign of our newsletters as well. And,
sorry to anyone who's had to listen to me. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into this newsletter. But it is actually probably the prettiest newsletter that has ever been sent by editorial. So,
I wouldn't call it pretty necessarily, but yes. It's,
it is the easiest to read. It is like the design is very lovely. So, and the content is really awesome too. So of course, definitely make sure to check it out, sign up. We will keep our ear to the ground for all of the latest security news that hits the industry. So,
we have a quick video for you from Shure, who, like I said, probably inspired Doritos to build that filter. So let's check this out from Shure.
Collaboration and sound go hand in hand, because clear communication is the backbone of team chemistry. When everyone can hear, they stay more engaged. Ideas flow and organizations thrive when teams are in tune with each other. Wherever they are. For nearly a century, Shure has set the standard for audio excellence. And what we've done on stages and in studios works for the workplace too. From startups to global enterprises, we've got solutions that bring more simplicity, clarity, and coverage to conferencing. So teams find their groove and business hits the high notes.
Okay, so that was from Shure. Thanks so much to them for being a wonderful sponsor and partner to Gary and me. And that's also why Gary and I both sound so good when we do this broadcast. So I wanted to talk really briefly about the November 2023 temperature check survey. We're going to close it in a couple of days. So make sure to get in there, get your answers. It's 3 questions. It takes literally less than 5 minutes, probably like 2 minutes to answer. And this is all about digital signage. You know, DSC is coming up, so this was our really good chance to ask what you guys are thinking about the ever-changing landscape that is digital signage. What kind of content are your customers asking you to help create for them? You know, this is kind of, we talk so much about how content is important, but this is your chance to kind of answer for us, like, you know, content versus the actual pieces and parts that make that content work. So definitely go answer those 3 questions. It helps us a ton. I use these survey answers to kind of plan a lot of like the content that I'm writing, based on how you guys answer. So it really helps me a lot. And also we're giving away 2 $50 Amazon gift cards, randomly to 2 people who answer. So if you would like to win a $50 Amazon gift card right in time for all of that Black Friday and Cyber Monday shopping that you're probably going to have to do, please go answer the survey. You can scan the QR code below my face and do it. Thanks.
And don't forget, it's powered by Peerless AV. So thanks for that partnership with Peerless. So let's cover some other news stuff. A couple stories that are UC related. I think that
Microsoft Teams related. Microsoft Teams is having like a big week.
That's true. HP Poly has updates for a bunch of their different Teams products. Specifically, the PolyLens app's been updated to accommodate Teams and all the different settings that Teams now has, and some new updates to the video bar products as well. You can see all of that at ravepubs.com. And of course, as you know, HP bought Poly. So it used to be Polycom. Now they're Poly. Now they're HP Poly. So that story's on our website. And also, we now finally have the first, you actually have the ability to have you can install spatial audio, which is something that Microsoft announced right before InfoComm, that they have spatial audio built into Teams. Nobody had actually come out with a product with it yet, but now actually QSC has a certified, meaning Microsoft Teams certified Teams Room product that does spatial audio. Now, what does that mean? So if you look at this image that's on the screen.
When we say spatial audio, like what does that mean? Yeah,
so let's put that image back up if you don't mind, because if you look at that image on the screen, imagine you're sitting in that conference room that is right there in the room, and you're sitting there, and a bunch of people on Teams front row are along the bottom of the screen. When that person at the far left starts talking, the audio will come out of just the far left, so your eyes will move that direction because you're naturally going to look where you hear. Because that's where the sound's coming from. So spatial audio will actually direct your eyes with your hearing. And of course, it's been built into AirPods and things like that. It's a lot easier to do that in a closed environment than an open environment. And you think about it, you have to have this on both sides. So you have to have it on the encoding side, which is what Teams is doing, and on the decoding side, which is what QSC is doing. So all the brands will have it eventually. You'll even see it built into the bars. These bars are kind of like surround bars, but what this will do is this will grow the opportunities for audio in UC spaces. So instead of you just putting in a bar and you want to do spatial audio, you'll probably end up putting far left, far right, and rear speakers in as well, especially if you're doing rooms where you have displays all around the room. So this really opens up the opportunity for UC in the future. And I'm sure everybody will be playing in this, including Aver, who's one of our partners. And I know that we have a message from Aver, or we have some products. I think last week we talked about the tracking box, the MT300N, and the fact that they have NDI built into it. I mean, everyone needs a box like this if you're doing sort of at-home production, or even if you're doing, if you want to automate the control of cameras or multiple devices connected in a room. So that's a neat little product that Aver just came out with. I don't know if you've had a chance to play around with one, Steph, but if you haven't, when you see it at a show, you should play around with it, because when you play around with it, you're going to say, I would wish I had this in my office.
Yeah. So this is definitely a cool new product from Aver. It supports NDI devices, enables, like Gary was talking about, voice tracking with PTZ cameras and leading microphone brands. And you can learn more about the MT300N at averusa.com. Alternatively, you can also scan the QR code, and that has a link to take you to Aver's site as well.
Yeah, and I wrote up a story.
Let's talk about esports.
Yeah, let's talk about esports. We had a few different things about esports. I wrote up a story about how Samsung's gaming hubs players now received. They now have games on the smart TVs thanks to a partnership with Blacknut. Now, so basically, what that means is Samsung Gaming Hub system is now built into their smart TVs. Now all the black nut games, which I'm not a big gamer out there, but I think one of the most popular ones is Overcooked 2 and
yes.
WRC.
Oh, that's like you like cook and you gotta hurry, go fast to
exactly.
like cook
So
in a restaurant.
those are
And
now
then,
built into gaming is becoming a bigger and bigger thing. I mean, you go back, let's go back a decade, Steph, and and some data that's kind of interesting. If you go back a decade, it was only 3% of women were gamers. Right? So that's one statistic that then Fortnite comes along and some of the other games, everything from Candy Crush to Fortnite, everything in between, brought a lot of women gamers. Now, Apple reports that about 30 to 35% of their games are being played by women. So
that's cool.
So you see the transformation there, but also at the same time, gaming, when you talk about high-end gaming, used to only be set-top based, right? You have a dedicated system, but now you have the Apple TV with a gaming hub built into it. You have Samsung now with the gaming hub. We have the phone, which by the way is using the same chip as a lot of the gaming, or a chip equivalent to a lot of the gaming set-top boxes. This whole industry is going to change, and because of that, we actually have, as we mentioned at the top of the hour, we actually have the industry's the first and only esports show that is live every single month. It's going to come out twice a month, the first and Thursday of every month. So that means tomorrow, Steph, at noon, same as our show on Thursday. You can hear the rAVe esports show with Bubba Gator. And Bubba, if you look him up, he's famous in the gaming market. He runs the Esports Foundation, and he actually spent the first episode a couple weeks ago, Steph, going through all the data. How big is the market? Where are the opportunities? How much technology is in there? What are the age ranges? What are the popular games? Where the leagues are? Which universities have programs, which don't? The fact that it's going to be an Olympic sport now, things like that. And you can listen to the first episode by scanning the QR code. It'll take you directly to that first episode as an option there. But also, why don't you consider listening? We have an article on our website too, and make it easy for you to find it if you go to ravepubs.com. But why don't you consider listening to the show, or watching the show tomorrow, because it is a live video show. And so tomorrow he's got a couple of guests on. And it's all about esports. If you're interested in getting involved in esports and you're kind of curious about the market, at least watch the show, because it is going to be a big sale. I mean, like 10 years ago, when every university was starting to specify digital signage networks,
right?
Same thing's happening with esports. Every university is adding esports because they're trying to make campus life better for everyone, not just uber athletes and not just super smart people. They're looking at the whole gambit of every kind of student on campus.
Yeah, that's true. Gary, what was the big game when you were young, when you were a tot?
I mean, video games just started when I was younger.
Yeah.
And home game, the big one was Pong. I mean, which was basically like virtual tennis. But I used to like when I was younger, what was really big was arcades, and they kind of be making a comeback now. But I used to go to arcades, and I loved pinball machines. But then there was Asteroid. Asteroids came out, and it was the first sort of. It basically had like a little space character at the bottom. It would just shoot, vertical arrows up, or lasers, I guess, at these aliens that were dropping down. You were trying to clear them. It was sort of like Tetris with aliens, right? And then Star Wars.
Had a game?
Somebody licensed Star Wars.
Okay.
And you literally flew through the Death Star, just like Luke Skywalker, to blow it up. And that was really cool. But it's interesting. Right when games came home is when I went into high school and started playing sports, and then college. And so I kind of missed it. It never was a thing for me, but I did have friends who were really big into gaming and would sit in their dorm rooms all the time and game. So I know that it was, it was right. I was kind of on the cusp of it, but I wasn't an active participant. What about you?
You will never be able to guess the video game that got me into gaming.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
It is the last thing you would ever expect me to play. But remember that I was raised by a retired military man.
Okay. Call of Duty?
No, but close. The game that got me interested, I was like 10 years old. My dad had just gotten back from Afghanistan. He was
Mhm.
deployed. And he was like, me and all my guys would play this. And, you know, like he comes home and he has his 2 daughters around. So he's like, all right, I'm going to teach you guys to play this. I want you guys to
What
play with
was
me.
it?
It was Halo.
Oh my God. That's great.
I was the biggest Halo
You're a
player.
first person
And
shooter
I was,
expert.
yes. And I was the first kid on my block to have this game. And
Wait a
so
minute.
I
You
would
grew up on
invite
a
like
block?
all,
Because I grew up in Andrew. There were
yeah.
no blocks in Andrew.
Well, remember, this was back when I lived in Fuquay.
Oh, okay. So Fuquay may have had blocks. Okay.
Yes, because like I went to Harnett Central, so I was like not
Yeah.
on that side of there yet. So yeah, so I grew up on this block, and it was like all like middle school boys who lived there, and I invited them all over just so I could absolutely kick their asses at Halo.
You know, the problem
and, like,
is
send
with
them
me
home.
is I think the key in these games is being able to play without looking down. Like you
Yeah.
looking at the controller.
Mhm.
That I never got. Like I didn't see, I didn't like
Oh.
actually, interestingly enough, similar kind of controller, but not the same. Is
Yeah.
I bought a drone probably a year ago, and I never opened it up
Okay.
till this past weekend. And I opened it up,
Okay.
got it set up and everything, and I flew it. And I realized
Uh-huh.
I'm having to look down constantly because you know
'Cause you don't know the
everything's like
controller
it's
yet.
like a controller for a game, right?
Yeah.
And so if you remembered where everything was and what the controls were, you wouldn't have to look down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of missed. It kind of skipped me, and that hand-eye coordination. Maybe I don't have it or whatever. But I've played Halo, and I got killed right away. I mean, you know,
Look, it takes time.
yeah.
Like it took me being like smoked by my father like many times before I like got pretty good.
Could you beat him?
Yes,
Oh,
but
you
it was
did?
only if I could do the thing where he would like look on his because you have like a little monitor to like look at where people are, but like I would move really slow so that my dot would disappear, and then I would get behind him, and you could do the thing where you could just like stab someone in the head and get him. So, or if you stuck like a plasma grenade to him and like just run away. So, yeah, good times.
Hey, you want to see some of the? I mean, I haven't tested them out, but I only can assume that this headset is just these earbuds are amazing.
I want a pair of these
so
bad.
Bang & Olufsen, B&O, and
Yeah.
Cisco partnered on a pair of earbuds.
Which is crazy. That is not a very B&O thing. Like this is like completely out of their wheelhouse.
They don't look super fan. They look a lot like Skull Candy to me.
Yeah, they do.
But I mean, for what they're charging for them and what they do, they got to be good. And it's
They've gotta be good.
Look, I predicted in my crystal ball beginning of the year that there were going to be a lot of collabs like this, and we've seen them. Right? We've seen Crestron. They're partnering with Barco for the click share now. You got B&O, and you've got Origin Acoustics partner. I mean, everyone is partnering now, and it's become like a normal thing. And so I guess I shouldn't be surprised. But Cisco, of course, with WebEx, and the fact that everybody's on online calls all the time.
Yeah.
When this came out, what I started wondering, Steph, is at what point in time do the over-ear earphones get usurped by the in-ear ones, right? I mean, because these on a long flight, these are a lot more, a long time on a call. These are a lot more convenient to use. I love these from Shure. I forget the model.
Yeah. They're what are those?
This is my favorite set. But
and
they're
I
the most
think that they're
comfortable.
not selling those anymore. Like those are not available anymore.
I mean,
So
they're amazing. It's too
I'm
bad.
trying to take good care of.
But at what point in time will in-ear usurp that? And because there's a whole generation, your generation, Steph, that was sent home to work from home that are perfectly fine using earpods and products like that as mic and speaker. Now, it's very tinny as a mic.
Yeah.
To me, it doesn't, like, I can tell when you're using it. I was on a call yesterday with Emily. I think it was
yesterday. You
yesterday.
can tell she was using her AirPods. Yeah, I think
you have AirPods on now, right?
Yeah, I prefer.
You're just using them for the audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
Keep us from hearing feedback.
But I prefer that because the most like over-ear headphones like hurt my head. After
you always say you have a big head. So
I have a big head. I have a lot of knowledge.
But you never complain about these from Shure.
No, those are good. But most
enough.
of the time they do hurt my head.
Okay.
And second of all, I feel as though I do not look cool when I wear over-ear headphones. So
And
I
that's
just
very
don't
important, right, Steph?
prefer to wear. Yeah, I would love to try the like AirPod Pros, like the
Yeah.
ones I haven't tried on a pair, but I feel like I would not look cool in those. I feel
They're
like I'll
more
look really
boxy.
lame.
They're definitely more
Yeah,
boxy, definitely
yeah,
more boxy. So, yeah.
yeah,
But anyway, you can read about these. And I think that we might be a couple of years away from that being the primary way that
yeah.
people communicate. The issue's got to be that the microphone's got to get better. You're going to, a company like Shure
Yeah.
or like Sennheiser or somebody's going to have to
Mhm.
license their microphone technology, because the problem with these is that the mic is not that good. And it's interesting is that obviously they make stuff with really good mics that are back here, because if you go to Broadway plays, you don't see the mics on those people. And a lot of times
No,
they're like up here in
they're
their
the
hairline.
ones usually that are the
Yeah.
hairline
Yeah.
mics that are taped
But
like right
sometimes they're
here.
behind their ears, right? So
Yeah.
they have the ability to, catch that audio. So, yeah, I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. You're
Yeah.
gonna get better. And that would be nice, because when you're traveling, it's hard to carry all this stuff with you.
Yeah, it is. That
Yeah.
was because I have like my office Shure
Yeah.
headphones, then I have
The
my
same.
travel Shure
Same.
headphones. Yeah.
Same. Totally get it. I have the same thing.
Yep.
But in any case, hey, why don't we talk about Legrand and the
Yes.
Vadio division Prime Shot 10, which is an HDMI based camera. So as you know, you can hook up PTZ cameras, USB, you can hook them up HDMI, you can go up through the
Mhm.
network. They have the IntelliShot, which does all three. But in this case, they have the Prime Shot, which is an HDMI, the Prime Shot 10, which is an
Right.
HDMI based camera, specifically for, and they're aiming this stuff for the basic stuff like house of worship, conference rooms, live
Mhm.
streaming events. So if a church needs a live stream and they want to have multiple camera angles, you could partner that with the tracking box, by the way, from rAVe, and you'd be able to switch multiple cameras in and add tracking functionality there. So this camera actually does HDMI and networking. So you can send it across the network, thus NDI capable. And you can find out more information on their website. You can scan that QR code. That'll take you directly there. And of course, Vadio invented the USB space, but they've expanded with HDMI and networking products as well.
Mhm.
So check that out.
Yeah. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up the show here, we wanted to bring up a couple of upcoming trade shows in case you guys were thinking of going. First one, DSC LDI. That is in Las Vegas. It is December 4th and 5th. Well, depending, part of it opens up on the 3rd, but definitely make sure to go down to LDI. We are covering that show in a very big way, whereas, before we had not really had a chance to go cover that a ton. So we're so excited. So you can use the code rAVE if you would like to come down to Vegas and see LDI. That is like the big live event show. Super excited about that. And
Like,
then
if you're
DSC.
doing bars and restaurants too, you probably like that.
Yeah. So that's going to be a very exciting show. I'm
And of
excited
course,
to,
co-located with DSE, so
which
get
is,
into both shows.
mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm very excited. That's going to be a fun few days that we get to spend in Vegas this December.
And you should check
So-
your email, because today we sent out a free code you can use to sign up for ISE. You can get a free pass for ISE. It's in Barcelona, a lot warmer than the Netherlands. It's in one giant hall, which is really
Yeah.
cool, because it's all like big, wide open, easy to move around
Mhm.
hall. Very newish convention center, very few columns, really neat design. Very accessible.
I am so happy about the move to Barcelona. I would just
Yeah.
like to say, now that I've been to, I went to Amsterdam once, and then it was 2020, and then there was no ISE.
Yeah.
And then, so I think when we went back, it was 2022. So I did 2022 and 2023 in Barcelona, and absolutely loved it. So if this is like your first chance, I highly recommend making the trek for this show. It is so fantastic. It is huge. It is kind of like your chance to see all of the AV that's going to be huge for that year, because
Yeah,
they
and by the
all
way,
go to ISE.
the insiders know this, but not everybody pays attention to this. This show's about 20% high-end residential. So you have the
Mhm.
CEA stuff there, and you have the Infocom stuff there wrapped into one. And it's really neat. I mean, it's a neat experience. And also, European shows have better food. Like, you actually will not miss out on the food like when you go
That's
to a US
actually
show, the
so
food
true.
just sucks everywhere. Like step up Las Vegas and Orlando. The food is terrible at all these shows. But then you go
Yeah.
to Europe and they have sushi and they've got really good Mexican food and they've got, and the other thing is, weirdly enough, I don't know why this is, but
Yeah.
good wine in Spain is like $4 a bottle. It's like
my God.
$2 Chuck from it's
From Trader Joe's.
it's like the Trader Joe's prices, but good
Literally.
quality, which is the weirdest thing too. In fact, I don't know if this is actually true. When we were eating one night, Emily said that that wine is cheaper than water there.
It is because, like, in Europe, they're like not really tap water people like we
they're
are
definitely
here
not
in the
bottled water people.
States. And so, like, when you say water, they go and they get you like a big bottle of water
Right.
to share with the table. And yes, a lot of the time when we would eat out for dinner, the bottle of water would be like, €6, whereas like the wine would be like €5.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird, but it's a good place to be. It's a good show. Mike Blackman and his team put together. And just a few episodes ago, we had Mike Blackman on talking about ISE, and I forget which episode that is. But if you're not a regular watcher, you should go back and check it out because we had him on as a guest. Yeah. And they've got a lot of new stuff planned for ISE, a lot of new venues, a lot of new pavilions. But it's definitely worth going. The dates of the show, Steph, do you remember them off the top of your head?
Isn't it January 31st through February 2nd?
Something like that. Yeah. Well, it's a 4-day show. So that'd be through the 30th through the 2nd, probably.
Oh, 30th,
yeah,
30th, 2nd, 31st.
Yep. Yeah. So that's a little early. That's a little early.
Yeah, it is a little early, but I'm so excited. And you talking about the food, it reminded me of that really good Asian fusion place we ate in Barcelona.
Yeah.
It was I think it's called Balboa. Oh my God, it's so good. Can't wait to go back and eat there. It's gonna be great.
I think but it was like 11 at night when we finally ate, right?
And you know what? And you know what? The restaurants were open. And that's another great thing about Barcelona.
Oh my God, that's true. Yeah, the restaurants.
By the time we get out of work, the restaurants are still open. It's great.
In fact, most people are going out to eat at like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. So
because like most of the time in the States, like at a trade show when I get done, it's late, and my options are McDonald's.
But it's normal there. So I was kind of wondering, what happens with primetime TV? Do they move it? Like, do you stay home and watch primetime, then go out and eat dinner, or do they move primetime to like 11 o'clock? Or
maybe they don't watch TV as much.
Maybe they don't. I mean, that's terrible. They're missing such amazing stuff like Vanderpump Rules and Housewives of Beverly Hills and F1 documentary. I mean, there's so much good TV out there.
And your favorite is Below Deck, right?
Probably of the reality shows, probably Below Deck. I mean,
I love that.
I mean, it's kind of like Downton Abbey on a boat, right? It's like, Downton Abbey was all about the people that serve the royalty. Yeah,
that's such a good way of descriing that.
It is. It's like Downton Abbey on a boat, right? I mean,
for rich people, yeah, who like want
to. I haven't looked this up. Do you know the book those boats is like $100,000 to $200,000 for 2 days?
Yes, I looked it up because I was like, that looks so fun. Me and my friends should do that,
right? And you're like, okay.
And then I looked it up and I said, oh, that's like not for my tax bracket.
Right, we're getting our producer saying, wrap it up. So let's one last thing. And speaking of wrapping it up, ProAV Wrapped is December 19, 2023, commemorating the year by talking to industry professionals and experts about the most important technology of 2023. I haven't been invited to this, so I'm not sure I'm one of them. But we have this event that's a launch and learn on December 19th. Who are you inviting to this, Steph? Who are the experts? Do we know yet? And this is sponsored by Peerless.
I think we still have a few experts that we're reaching out to.
All right, well, we'll give you more information.
Evan McDonald is one of them.
Okay, there you go.
From Peerless.
Go sign up. Look, this is going to be a year-end event. It's going to be like, hey, here's our impressions of everything that happened for the year. I think one person we should have on here is Tim Albright. I think you should add that to the list, Steph. Have Tim Albright on from AV Nation because he has he's got good insight there. And maybe Dan as well from Commercial Integrator. I think that might be kind of cool. But anyway, I don't know what you have planned, but December 19th, sign up for it. Go to launch.com, LAVNCH, or scan that QR code. You can sign up for it. Steph, thanks very much for joining me today. I will see you next Will we have a show next Wednesday? Wednesday for Thanksgiving? I guess we will.
Yes,
We'll have a show next
we
Wednesday.
will.
So I'll see you next.
So I'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
see you next Wednesday. We'll see y'all next
Bye,
Wednesday.
everybody.
Bye.
It's the weekly show about ProAV with the hottest news in the AV industry. It's rAVe TV. Give it up for Steph and Gary. Steph and Gary.